Hi, everybody, and welcome to Vista's course on business ethics. I'll be your professor for this course. I'm Dr. Richard McElroy. Let me do some things in way of introduction. Introducing myself, who's leading you through this course of study. One of the things I wanted to share with you is, I have 6 degrees. It's not so much the number of degrees. What I want to emphasize is how I got those degrees. Much as you are now, I was a working adult. So I know what you're going through to engage in this program and this course. I know that you have rent, you have mortgages, you have family, you have dogs to feed, yards to mow, bills to pay, and then you go to work. And you work all day and then come back and have to study. As they say, I've been there, I've done that, I have the t-shirt. I've been where you are as a working adult. One thing that I would share with you, if you will, from the other side, once it's over, it is very, very, very worth it. It is certainly doable. I've told hundreds of students this. Where will you be in 5 years? The time will go by. It's what you choose to do with the time. So in 5 years, you can say, I watched a lot of I Love Lucy reruns. Or you can say, listen, I finished my undergrad and I went on and I have my master's degree. So it's really priority. It's certainly doable. Now, will it be easy? Probably not. So there'll be some demands and it will be hectic, but it is certainly doable. And it is certainly worth it. So I'm proud of you. I'm happy to be your professor. I'm glad to see you here. So another thing I would like to share with you is, as who's leading me through this course. I've taught dozens of courses to hundreds of classes with thousands of students. So I've done, again, as they might say, I've been there, done that. I've been around the block a couple of times. So I've taught a lot. Of course, where a lot of professors started, I started in the classroom. I did a lot of classroom teaching. And then that kind of migrated, and I started to pick up some online courses. And I tell you, I really like the online format. What I found, and remember, I've been on both sides, classroom and online. One thing I would point out to you is it's an interesting paradox with online instruction. I find, and I have for years now, that the distance actually draws us closer. So through virtual education, you can be in any state. But what I find with my online students is you're more dedicated and focused on the topic. You're more reflective as you write and engage. Sometimes in the classroom, and you've probably seen this, some folks can kind of zone out, if you will. So, taking calls, eating lunch. But my online students, I find, are more focused on the topic. So I like this. I like this venue a lot. A quick one you might want to know about me. My career, I started in a technical area. My technical background is nuclear power. I was ex-Navy, submarine service, operated nuclear reactors. Got out and went to operate commercial reactors for electric utilities. So I've been in a technical arena as a non-degreed individual. So as many of you may be right now in a technical arena seeking your degree. So I've been there. I've been in management positions, leadership positions. I owned a business, so a business owner. So those kinds of things. Another one you may be interested in about my background is I've consulted for some 20 years. So many of the things that we'll study in this course and other courses, I've seen in my own career in utilities, as an example. But interestingly enough, I've also seen them from the other side, if you will, from a consultant coming in, taking a look at organizations, diagnosing organizations, and seeing, in our case here, ethics, how ethics can give rise to significant operational issues, management issues. So I've seen it from both sides. A quick one on Vista College. You know, Vista College is a career college, so we will never tackle topics from a very high level, esoteric, abstract level. We're going to tackle our topics from a very hands-on, practical perspective. I've had hundreds of students talk about going through courses and taking what they've learned directly to the workplace where it's applicable. So, you know, take a note of that as we study, see how this, reflect back and see how this relates to your own work experience. And I've told students this also, by the way. Keep a learning journal through your entire academic program. Think about the key topics that we're studying and reflect back, not for grades, not for points, but for your own development. How do those topics really resonate, work, or applied in a real world environment? You'll find, looking back over your journal as time goes by, that you have really developed as a manager. So it's not just reading the book and taking the quiz. Keep that journal, reflect, see how this information resonates with you, is applicable to you. I think you'll find it very, very valuable. Let's do this very, very quickly. I know everybody's been through a student orientation, but just so we both know where everything is in the shell. If you take a look at your course shell on the left side, you're going to see a menu. Just under the Home tab, you'll see Announcements. The Announcements tabs will lead you to My Course Announcements. This is where I'll give you advice, tips, techniques. It's where I help you navigate through the course. So I'll make announcements sometimes daily. I highly recommend every day go in, take a look at the announcements, look for new announcements. But read those announcements. I'll give you practical advice on how to write papers, engage in discussions. So take a look at those announcements. They're very, very important. I've put them there for you to help you navigate through the course. If you look right under announcements, you're going to see the tab Syllabus. I highly recommend you print off, study your syllabus. You're going to find a couple of key things. There are many things in your syllabus, but you're going to find a couple of key things that I think you'll find particularly important. One is your learning objectives. Learning objectives are what should you get out of this course. Under that, you're going to find another area of learning objectives, which are really learning outcomes. These are the things, they all start with verbs, by the way. These are things that you should be able to do when you complete the course. Draft something, discuss something, describe something, explain something. Those are learning outcomes. Key for you is those are outcomes you should have at the end of the course. But they're also self-test items as you go through the course. Take a look at those learning outcomes as we move through the course. Are you able to do them? Can you draft? Can you explain? Can you describe these things? If not, that is a key indicator to you that something's been missed. You need to go back into the book and research that topic. All right? So that's the syllabus. Now, if you look right under the syllabus, you're going to see a tab Modules. Modules is going to lead you to each weekly area of assignment, reading, quizzes. You've got a couple of ways to get to those readings, assignments, and quizzes. One is the Modules tab. Open it, click on Modules. Modules will take you to a list of each week by week by week module. It leads you right to what do you have to read, what do you have to write, what quiz do you have to take. Another way to get to those very same points is if you'll see right under modules, 3 tabs, assignments, discussions, and quizzes. You can go direct to your discussion, assignment, quizzes from your home screen. All right, so that's how you navigate those. A quick one on your assignments, reading. I've told thousands of students this. Reading as kind of, you don't want to be distracted. Reading is to help you truly know the material, but how to apply it. I've told thousands of students this. When you read your book, read your textbook, study your textbook as if you were going to teach it. If you read, I suggest to you, read your textbook with a beer in front of you watching the basketball game. Your mind cannot process two lines of thought, two bits of dissimilar information. One will take prominence, probably the beer in the basketball game. When you read, I highly recommend you read it as a study. You actually study it as if you're going to teach it. I highly recommend you do this when you're not distracted. Your brain will not be able to process two streams of information simultaneously. Now, if you take a look under on your left side of your screen down to bookshelf, bookshelf is going to open up, take you to your ebook, and I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Now let's see, what else do we need to know? Let's take a look at each landing page, if you will. What you're going to find are, I've told you, the learning objectives, your reading assignment, your discussions, and the quizzes. Some points for you. When you write, by the way, here's just a quick tip. This, and I'm offering this in way of, I've seen this a lot. The chief obstacle I have found for students getting more points, higher grades, is not necessarily intellect, it's process. Take your written assignment as an example. What I find the chief obstacle for students is that they forget to include an element of the assignment in their paper. They start, if you will, from reading the assignment guidelines and start drafting their paper. Somewhere in the drafting process have forgotten a single element, and it's easy to do. So how can you draft your paper ensuring you cover every element of the assignment? I highly recommend this. Take your assignment, cut and paste it into a Word document. Every major element of that assignment, make it a section heading. If, as an example, your assignment says, list 3 things, describe what they do, and give us a practical application, how you've seen them work. Well, you may want to make those your headings and well describe the topics. And then another section for how would you see those in application? Where have you seen them? So don't miss points by inadvertently omitting part of the assignment. Now, another quick one, and perhaps my last quick note in way of introduction, is knowledge transfer. Where are you in a college program? If you think about high school, how was knowledge transferred? Probably you had a teacher in the front of the room. They said, sit behind your desk. Please be quiet. Take notes. I'll tell you what's going to be on the quiz. Knowledge transfer in high school is the teacher tells you what you need to know. Now you're in college. College is more in-depth understanding and application of knowledge. So now think about a bachelor's program where you are right now. What would the professor expect of you? To be able to discuss and jointly explore a topic. So that's why we have discussions. You'll write papers on things. I'm looking for how can you explore this? How would you explain it? How can you discuss this with someone? All right. Now, of course, when you get into your master's program, what you're going to find is professors are looking for your mastery of a topic, which means you need to show the professor what you know. Then what do you think a PhD program is then? At a doctoral level, the transfer of knowledge is PhDs create knowledge. They take existing theories ideas, notions, they test them, they experiment with them, they compare them to other things, they come up with hypotheses, they come up with new theories, and they write those theories out. So they create knowledge. So again, the key here for you is at a bachelor's program, your undergrad program, what's the transfer of knowledge? You will never have a professor tell you what you need to know. What you will have is a professor that engages you in discussion and exploration of the topic to see how well you can absorb it, develop the ability with it, and apply it. All right? So everybody, that's pretty much it. That's who I am. That's what the course is. If you have absolutely any questions, the easiest way to get a hold of me is through email. I'm on email a lot. So stay engaged. Read and study that textbook, and I'll see you online. Good luck, everybody.